Here are the top stories for today, May 27, 2019. President Duterte signs the Magna Carta of the Poor, which provides ways to improve the lives of poor Filipinos. The PNP expects the man allegedly behind the Bikoy videos to submit an affidavit on his claims. Albay Representative Joey Salceda asks the Supreme Court to stop the ban on provincial buses in EDSA. And analysts say the peso is likely to stay firm amid corrections against the US dollar.
Good day, I'm Rom Dulfo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. Our top story, President Rodrigo Duterte has signed the Magna Carta of the Poor, the law that will provide mechanisms seeking to protect the poor and uphold their rights to a better life. The law also gives Filipinos full access to government services that provide their basic needs. Here's our report.
President Rodrigo Duterte has signed into law the Magna Carta of the Poor, which aims to uplift the standard of living and quality of life of impoverished Filipinos. Duterte signed Republic Act No. 11291 on April 12, but a copy of which was released to media on Monday, May 27. Under the law, the government shall establish mechanisms to provide the requirements, conditions, and opportunities to realize the rights of the poor towards poverty alleviation. The Anti-Poverty Commission shall promulgate rules and regulations to carry out the provisions of this act in coordination with government departments and agencies with the participation of the local government units and basic sectors. The concerned agencies are mandated to help Filipinos meet the right to adequate food, decent work, quality education, housing, and the highest standards of health. On April 17, Duterte also signed into law an act institutionalizing the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program, or 4Ps. The 4Ps provides conditional cash transfer to poor households for up to 7 years to improve the health, nutrition, and education aspect of their lives. For the PNA Newsroom, I am Miguel Hill.
Presidential spokesperson Sal Panelo explained the seemingly weak and unstable demeanor of President Duterte during the PMA's graduation rites on Sunday. Panelo said the president looked very sleepy because he had only 2 hours of sleep due to paperwork. He said the president usually sleeps at 6 a.m. and had to be awake at 8:30 a.m. for the graduation schedule. Duterte was nearly 2 hours late for the graduation scheduled at 9 in the morning. He asked Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana to hand out most of the diplomas as he wanted to reserve his energy for the other ceremonial acts. The president was already in his usual alert, impassioned, and assertive self by the time he delivered his speech. He also joked about the offenses made by PMA cadets, which includes rape, robbery, while he was pardoning the outstanding punishments for PMA underclassmen. Panelo said Duterte is known to crack jokes and profanity in his speeches. President Duterte on Sunday issued an order giving pardon to cadets who are facing punishments. In his speech during the graduation ceremony of the PMA Mabalasik class of 2019, President Duterte said the order will include all those facing punishments for violation of less grave offenses. PMA Information Officer Major Reynan Afan said that a pardon is a president's prerogative as commander-in-chief and is not mandatory. He said under normal circumstances, cadets are mandated to follow several regulations during their stay inside the academy. He clarifies that the order specifically mentioned the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th class cadets only. Duterte was guest of honor and speaker during the graduation ceremonies on Sunday, where 261 cadets were conferred the ranks of 2nd lieutenant for those joining the Army and the Air Force, and ensign for those going to the Navy.
Serve your country well. Die for your country if needs be. Remember the young Filipinos yet to come, the children and those who are now studying. Huwag mong kalimutan ninyo yan. And if you think that the country is not run the way it is, and if it will destroy your country, you should know what to do Do you understand me? Good.
A recent SWS survey which showed that more Filipinos say their lives have improved is proof that President Duterte is definitely doing his job. Presidential Communications Operations Office Secretary Martin Andanar made this comment as he welcomed the first quarter survey, which found 38% of adult Filipinos have said their lives improved in the last 12 months. The same survey also found 45% of adults were optimistic that the economy will improve in the next 12 months. Andanar said the survey shows that the president is doing something right as the lives of more Filipinos are improving. Andanar said problems such as drugs, criminality, and corruption have been ignored by previous administrations until Duterte decided to put his foot down. He also reassured the public that the president always had the Filipinos' best interests at heart. Several priority and minor bills are being eyed for passage in Congress this week before session closes on June 7. More on this and other news around the metro from Janice Cave.
Senator Sherwin Gatchalian is hoping for the passage of Senate Bill 2177 or the Tobacco Sin Tax Bill before the 17th Congress adjourns on June 7. Gatchalian hopes to have the bill sponsored for interpolation as early as Tuesday and then have it approved by the Bicameral Conference Committee by weekend. The Tobacco Sin Tax Bill will increase the excise tax on cigarettes starting with 70 pesos per pack by 2020. The taxes will be spent on the government's universal healthcare program. Two other measures are expected to be passed into law before Congress adjourns. House Bill 9087, which was approved in third reading, aims to provide free freight services for transportation of relief goods in calamity areas. Another bill pending approval this week is House Bill number 9099, which will update the charter of the Philippine Sports Commission. The authors are hoping to have them approved by the Bicameral Conference Committee and enacted into law. Meanwhile, the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency denied involvement in the ambush lay of a trucking service owner in Tondo, Manila last May 24. The four suspects in the killing of Melchor Almazan in a supposed robbery were reportedly seen wearing PDEA shirts and bull caps. But PDEA spokesperson Derek Carrion said agents have specific uniforms which are different from what the suspects were wearing. He said they disguised as PDEA agents to throw off police and tarnish their reputation. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
Still to come, the PNP expects the man allegedly behind the Bikoy videos to submit an affidavit on his claims. Albay Congressman Joey Salceda asks the Supreme Court to stop the ban on provincial buses and EDSA. More on these when the PNA Newsroom continues.
I'm very proud to report that after 1 year, Boracay was never the same again. We will continue to be really a guardian of Boracay na hindi na makabalik sa dati.
Peter Jomal Advincola, who claims to be Bikoy, may return to the Philippine National Police to submit an extrajudicial confession on a supposed destabilization plot against President Duterte. In a press briefing this morning, PNP Chief Oscar Albayalde said they have a dedicated team from the CIDG against the personalities named by Advincola. He also said Advincola may return to submit his extrajudicial confession on his claims last week, where he linked Senator Antonio Trillanes IV to the Ang Totoong Narco List video series that accused the Dutertes and his allies of drug ties. Advincola left the PNP headquarters on Saturday after he posted bail for estafa charges filed against him. Albayalde said Advincola has yet to find a legal counsel, which is important in filing his affidavit to the PNP, and that it should be substantiated with evidence. Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana said he is also doubtful of Advincola's claims unless it is backed up with solid evidence. All government officials on Sunday were directed to refrain from official trips to Canada. Presidential spokesperson Sal Panelo confirmed a memorandum dated May 20, 2019 directing all department secretaries and heads of agencies, government-owned and controlled corporations or GOCCs, and government financial institutions to refrain from issuing travel authorities for official trips to Canada. This amid the trash row between the Philippines and Canada. President Duterte is determined to send the trash back to Canada with an order that if Canada will not allow its garbage to enter the country, the contracted vessel would leave the containers of solid waste in its territorial waters. Albay Representative Joey Salceda asked the Supreme Court to stop a ban on provincial buses on EDSA. Salceda asked the High Court on Monday to issue its temporary restraining order or TRO on the implementation of MMDA's provincial bus ban on EDSA. He said the measure will not solve traffic in EDSA as there are only around 4,000 provincial buses out of 2.8 million vehicles in Metro Manila. Salceda stated in his 15-page petition that the MMDA regulation is utterly oppressive and unfair to the public, as the new routes will only add physical and financial burden to commuters. The provincial bus ban is set to take effect in June. The Presidential Communications Operations Office has showcased before more than 40 foreign journalists the rehabilitation of Marawi City 2 years after the siege there broke out. The international media went to the most affected areas on May 23 to see the construction of the Bangolo Bridge, the main artery going to Marawi's central business district. The reporting tour also brought the media to the Sagunsongan transitory shelters where they interacted with the displaced residents there. They also witnessed the culmination program of Marawi Week of Peace. PCO Office of Global Media Affairs Chief J.V. Arsana said the tour aims to show the government's efforts and curb inaccurate information about the current situation in Marawi City. The trip was organized in partnership with Task Force Bangon Marawi and the Philippine Information Agency or PIA. 6 members of the New People's Army or NPA surrendered to authorities in Batangas through the help of their relatives. This and other news from the provinces from Miguel Hill.
In Batangas, 6 suspected members of the New People's Army have voluntarily surrendered to police last Friday. The rebels also surrendered their firearms at Camp Miguel Malvar. The rebel returnees are now under custody and will undergo application to the Enhanced Comprehensive Local Integration Program. In Cebu, the proposed LRT project in Cebu is likely to materialize and become operational by 2022. The construction of the LRT in Metro Cebu would start soon after the approval of its feasibility study by the National Economic and Development Authority. In Cotabato City, arson investigators pointed to an unattended mobile phone as the cause of the fire that destroyed at least 13 concrete retail stalls at the city public market. Fire probers are yet to determine the total cost of the damage to properties in the conflagration. For the PNA Newsroom, I am Miguel Hill.
Up next, around 200 kids joined the one-day grassroots sports event by UNESCO. 30 local restaurants serve Bacolod City's famous roast chicken in the second Chicken in a Sal Festival. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders. The High Court recently decided with finality to remove Filipino and Panitikan or Philippine literature from core subjects in college. Is it a step forward or a setback in the country's education system? Do you agree with this move? Let's find out how Filipinos feel about this in today's Boses ng Masa.
Siyempre hindi. As we Filipino, kailangan pati tayo, alam din natin yung sarili nating yung sarili nating culture, sarili nating pananalita. Kasi even tayo, hindi nga natin alam yung ibang salita ng Tagalog di ba? Minsan medyo malayo yung salita natin, English na, Taglish na. So parang ang pangit naman ng gano'n na Pilipino tayo tapos nag-uusap tayo ng Taglish. Ano to, masasyalan? Di ba? Yun lang.
Kasi natin, wika natin. Kaya ayoko mawala. Hindi ako sangayon sa nila na mawala yun sa subject na yun. Kaya nga kasi natin yan sariling wika natin. Kaya hindi ako sangayon.
Hindi. Kasi siyempre nakagisnan na nating mga Pilipino. Mula sa elementarya hanggang sa kolehiyo, merong panitikang Pilipino na dapat mapag-aralan natin hanggang sa kolehiyo.
Hindi. Dahil Pilipino tayo, matatanggalin. Di ba? Hindi dapat tanggalin yan dahil Pilipino tayo. Kaya ba't nila tatanggalin? Hindi papasok yung mga ibang lingwahe. Di ba? Kaya hindi ako sangayon dyan.
The Philippine peso is projected to trade between 52 pesos to 52 and 10 centavos against the US dollar this week. RCBC Economics and Industry Research Division Head Michael Rickerford explained that amid the peso's slight weakness, several factors are seen to continue lifting it up, including the report of the government's record-high budget surplus last April, amounting to 86.9 billion pesos. Another plus factor for the peso is the drop to the two-month low of crude oil prices in the international market because of concerns on the U.S.-China trade issues, which in turn also resulted in lower U.S. government bond yields. Let us take a look at today's foreign exchange rate. In our foreign news, voters in Germany, Lithuania, Cyprus, Bulgaria, Greece, and Italy cast their ballots on Sunday in elections to the European Parliament. Citizens of the 28 European Union member countries voted to elect 751 members for a 5-year term. The election takes place amid uncertainty about the stability of the EU. The competition for the 96 seats in the EP is being taken seriously in Germany this year, as a total of 41 parties are registered for the election. 16 parties and election committees in Lithuania are competing for 11 seats in the EP. In Cyprus, voters elected 6 deputies as Turkish Cypriots took part in the country's exercise for the first time since they broke away in 1964. In Bulgaria, nearly 6.35 million eligible voters chose 17 members among 312 candidates. In Greece, about 9.89 million citizens are voting to fill up 21 seats. Meanwhile, around 50 million Italians went to polling stations to elect 76 members. In sports, the Barangay Ginebra Kings reversed what could have been a dismal game to take down the Meralco Bulls on Sunday at the Smart Araneta Coliseum. Ginebra made a key turnaround in the second half to surge to a 15-point victory in their second outing in the PBA Commissioner's Cup. Reigning Best Import winner Justin Brownlee got away with another near triple-double job with 27 points, 12 rebounds, and 8 assists to lead the Kings. Gani Lawal made 38 points to boost the Meralco locals in their vain attempt to maintain the lead. Meanwhile, the Blackwater Elite rallied behind Alex Stephenson to take solo leadership in the season. Stephenson had 26 points, 21 rebounds, and 7 blocks as the Elite beat the Colombian Jeep 118-110. Bobby Ray Parks added 23 points, and Alain Maliksi and Mac Bello contributed 19 points apiece. Kyle Barones, 21 points and 14 rebounds, and Rashawn McCarthy's 20 points and 6 assists failed to make a difference for Colombia. Around 200 kids joined the 3rd Children's Games at the Our Lady of Lourdes Parish at Central Park in Bangkal, Davao City on Sunday. Philippine Sports Commission Chair Butch Ramirez joined the parade for the first time since the Children's Games was revived in May 2017. In his message, Ramirez thanked Father Toto Espana for caring for the welfare of the youth. He told young participants that the Children's Games is for everybody, no matter the social status or religion. The children played different traditional games during the one-day grassroots sports event sanctioned by UNESCO. Bacolod City has become synonymous to chicken inasal. The city aims anew to promote the dish as a tourist attraction in the 2nd Bacolod Chicken Inasal Festival, where 3,000 chicken pieces were served to guests this year. More on this from Janice Cabin.
Bacolod City is the self-proclaimed home of the chicken inasal, which draws in hundreds of tourists seeking out authentic grilled chicken. The city continues to stake its claim, making the dish synonymous to Bacolod, with the Bacolod Chicken Inasal Festival now on its 2nd installment. Some 30 local restaurants serving Bacolod City's famed grilled chicken joined the Inasal Festival on Saturday. Homegrown inasal joints were among those that took part in the grilling of 3,000 chicken pieces on 300-meter charcoal grills lined up along Araneta Street. Councilor Cindy Rojas, chairperson of the festival committee, said the turnout of the participants this year indicates the growing chicken inasal industry of Bacolod. Rojas said Bacolod wants to make chicken inasal a must-eat local dish for tourists. This year's festival benefited the senior citizen residents of the city. The weekend festival also featured the fantasy chicken costume competition and sausawan contest, as well as Zumba street party and live band concert. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
Expect more rains in the next few hours as the frontal system continues to affect parts of Luzon. But we're still far from the end of the dry season, or El Nino. Meantime, let's check out the weather forecast for Metro Manila and the rest of the country. Let's take another look at today's biggest stories.
President Duterte signs the Magna Carta of the Poor, which provides ways to improve the lives of poor Filipinos. The PNP expects the man allegedly behind the Bikoy videos to submit an affidavit on his claims. Albay Representative Joey Salceda asks the Supreme Court to stop the ban on provincial buses in EDSA. And analysts say the peso is likely to stay firm amid corrections against the US dollar.
Thank you for watching another edition of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website to follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags on all our social media platforms and websites. And that's your daily dose of the latest news and information that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I'm Rob Dulfo. Good day.